Our next speaker is Abby Johnson, who many of you know. Now, you may know that in 2008, Abby Johnson was the Employee of the Year for Planned Parenthood. And you also know that she is now a former Planned Parenthood abortion facility director who made a courageous choice for life and is now a pro-life champion. If you have not heard Abby speak before, you know that she speaks straight from her heart, straight to your heart. So welcome to the stage, please, Ms. Abby Johnson.
To run a Planned Parenthood abortion center. I am now pro-life. I left after watching a 13-week-old child fight and struggle for his life in the womb, only to lose that battle to abortion. But that child's memory is not in vain, because every day I remember what I saw on that ultrasound screen, and it continues to propel me to fight harder in this movement, because abortion is not just something that we hear about. Abortion is not just something that we read about in a textbook or in an online article. This is not a game. These are real children. 55 million of our children, our brothers and sisters, that have been sacrificed in the name of choice. And we are here to say, after 40 years of wandering around in the desert, we are here to look evil in the face and say, no more. Now, we are guaranteed to be persecuted. If you've ever been outside of one of the 4 abortion clinics here in Austin, you know that that is true. You will be persecuted, but when we are persecuted in the name of Christ, and this is certainly God's business, we are blessed. So we do not fear the persecution of others. We do not fear the persecution of our federal government. We do not fear persecution because we are doing this in the name of Christ. And there is no doubt in any of our minds that the God we serve is 100% pro-life. There have been some exciting steps taken, certainly in the past few years, and there are going to be more that will take place this legislative session. People talk about the sonogram bill, and I don't know if you really realize how devastating that has been to the abortion industry. But we are hearing from people, former abortion clinic workers, that the ultrasound bill is exposing the lie of the abortion industry. To give you some really good news here. Despite Planned Parenthood having their record number of abortions in 2011, they performed more than 333,000 abortions nationwide. Here in Texas, in that same year, there was a drop of at least 7% in the abortion numbers. Because you know what? Texans don't follow the national trend, do we? And one of the things that we are seeing that is really saving a lot of lives is that women are are having to go and meet face to face with the abortionist 24 hours before their ultrasound. And many times, most of these abortionists don't have the best bedside manner. So these women are going to meet with these doctors, they're getting information, they're turning around, and they're never walking back in the doors of that clinic. And we have so many pro-life heroes sitting up here today on the steps, but there's one in particular I want to have come and talk to you for a moment. His name is Senator Dan Patrick, and he is a fearless pro-life leader in our state, and I am proud to call him a friend. Please welcome Senator Dan Patrick.
We would not have passed the sonogram without her help. She gave us a look inside what was happening that we could expose and ask questions about in hearings. Her testimony helped convince some legislators who may have not been sure. And how did that happen? That a former employee of the year of Planned Parenthood would now be standing here with a governor and a lieutenant governor and attorney general and Joe Poyman and the legislators and myself to celebrate the sonogram bill. It's because God changed her heart. Matthew 19:26 says, with men it's impossible, but with God all things are possible. Abby told me the story because I wanted to know. And she said that every day when she walked into the abortion clinic in College Station, there were Christians standing outside handing prayer cards to the women coming to get an abortion, but they also handed her a prayer card. And she kept those prayer cards. And God softened her heart, and God changed her heart. And as she told you, she walked out. And now there are 42 people in her mission across the country, former Planned Parenthood abortion workers, that she's now leading an army, who are telling the story state by state, city by city. Only God could make that happen. And so I remember standing here in 2007 and they said, we won't be able to pass this bill. And in 2009, we won't be able to pass this bill. And then last year we stood here with you. And you have to understand that your support and your prayers and showing up made the difference. It changed the heart of some legislators who were so close before, but who couldn't quite cast that vote. You made the difference. It's important that you're here. It's important that you're standing for God. Matthew 18:6 says, woe be it to those who would harm the little children. Better it be they have a millstone around their neck and dropped in the depth of the sea. And what I would say to you on this day, as the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the attorney general said, our work is not finished until we end all abortions. And through technology, many people are changing their minds. Women, through the sonogram bill, are now seeing that baby. In fact, one of the House members told me in his district on one day in an abortion clinic this year, 9 women in one day who came in for an abortion saw the sonogram and changed their mind. Yeah! One day. So I would ask you this. Pray for your legislators, the governor, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, who have been brave stalwarts in this fight. Pray for Abby. But pray for those who are on the other side. That like Abby, that like others, who are now following her from the abortion industry, that God will change their hearts, that they will listen, and they will join us proudly, supporting life in helping overturn abortion in America. Thank you. God bless.
Wow, we really have some amazing leadership here in Texas. But you know what? We can't just depend on them to do the work. It is us. We are all the hands and feet of Christ. And we must all get involved. Guys, this is not your pro-life activity for the year. This is just the beginning. We must be these babies' voices. We must stand up for these families, for these women, for these men who are lied to and coerced into taking the lives of their children. We must be there to take a stand. If you have never gone and stood outside of an abortion clinic and prayed, you better start doing it now. If you are here and you are a clergy member, I thank you for coming, but if you have never stood up at your pulpit and spoken out on the sanctity of human life and spoken against abortion, you better do it. If you can't proudly say, yes, I volunteer with one or more pro-life organizations, you better get out there and do it. Being pro-life is not a hobby. Being pro-life is a lifestyle, and it is something that is ingrained in our hearts, not just our heads. And our work, us being uncomfortable, let me tell you something, I've never woken up in the morning and gone, man, I am so jazzed to go and pray outside this abortion clinic today. That is not how it feels, but it's not about me.
Come on. Come on.
And it's not about you.
That's right.
It's about doing God's will. It's about doing what He requires us to do. Being pro-life is not just something you should do. It is something you must do. I don't know if some of you have probably heard this story. There's a woman in New York that was bludgeoned to death out on the street many years ago. Her name was Kitty Genovese. And there were dozens of people sitting up in their apartments, and they were looking out at Kitty as she was being stabbed to death. And they just stood there and they watched her die out in the middle of this busy New York street. No one called the police to go to her aid. You know why? Because they all thought someone else would do it. In psychology, it's known as the bystander effect. And I think we've been living for many years with a terrible case of the bystander effect. Waiting for other people to be the hands and feet of Christ. Waiting for other people to go out and pray on the sidewalks. Waiting for other people to go and lobby at our Capitol. Waiting for other people to go and volunteer with pregnancy resource centers. That time must end. And I believe that Texans are the ones that are going to say, we will no longer just stand by and watch children die and women be in pain. We are going to be that change. We are going to make the change, and it is going to start right here in the great state of Texas. In June of last year, I started a ministry called And Then There Were None. It's a ministry to effect change inside the abortion clinics across our country. Since June of last year, we have had 42 abortion clinic workers, some counselors, some educators, some directors, and we're even talking currently to 2 abortionists who want to leave their jobs. We have talked to, with the help of Christ, we have helped convert 42 abortion clinic workers, people who were seeped inside that industry of evil. They are now outspoken advocates for life. And I kept saying it would happen. happen. I kept saying it would happen, but I don't think anybody believed me until it really did. I kept saying that former abortion clinic workers would be the ones to shut down their former clinics. And I don't really believe anybody thought it would really happen. But on December 26th, probably the best Christmas gift I've ever gotten, a former abortion clinic worker in Michigan successfully helped to shut down the clinic where she once worked. And currently there are four, mine is one of them, there are four federal lawsuits out against Planned Parenthood affiliates, and not if we are successful, but when we are successful in winning these court cases, those four affiliates will be forced to shut down because they will be fined hundreds of millions of dollars in fines. But like I said, it takes all of us doing our part. I will not end abortion. We will not end abortion. You will not end abortion. But we together, standing and uniting in Christ, we will end abortion. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. People come up to me and they look at me and they go, Abby, we're never going to win. Look at the abortion industry, look at Planned Parenthood, look at all this money they've got. Look at all these supporters they have. They've got Bill Gates and Bill Clinton and stacks of bills. And I look them in the face and I say, I don't care who they have on their side. We have the number one guy on our side, Jesus Christ.